We are preparing the live stream. Okay. This meeting is being live streamed. Okay. Did I mention we were going to have some technical stuff that might be a little bit of a delay? Did I hit play?
No.
Okay,
I
so
don't
I
think
just
so.
leave it alone.
Yeah, in fact,
All
I'll
right.
hit play because I got it muted.
All right, good, because yeah, there will be a big.
Actually, yeah, you will want it.
Muting that doesn't mute us for everybody. It's okay. Good. Good. Folks. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. This is our first ever live stream of our get the cameras right. This is where I'm gonna probably have the most delays, is just we figured out what camera we need to switch back and forth to. So thank you all for being here. This is the welcome to Inventor Friday live. Live with warts and all and technical stuff. We're trying to get through some technical issues. I think we've kind of mastered most of them, but if something does mess up, either let us know if we're not seeing it, or please be patient with us. So we really appreciate your patience and being here. For those of you who don't know, I'm Don Skaggs, kind of chief cook, bottle washer at the Inventors Network Kentucky, Inventors Network Online, and I'm a serial inventor, serial entrepreneur, bootstrapped a business out of a farmhouse in eastern Kentucky of all places, and grew it 23 years to a manufacturing facility, and sold it in 2014, and decided this is how I want to spend the rest of my life is taking care of you guys and helping you all. So thank you all for being here, and I want to switch it over to Leo York.
Hey.
Leo, tell everybody who you are, what you do.
Hey, I'm Leo. I'm a copywriter and I'm VP of the Inventors Network Kentucky, and we help inventors all over the state and now all over the world. And that's about it. Happy to be here.
All right. So now also okay, that's not the right camera. Did I mention we were going to have some things? There we go. With us is Kirk Sellenberger, or Sellenberg. Boy, I'm just butchering everything.
No
today.
worries.
That's it. Founder of Reaction Items, creator of MiniGrip. Kirk, tell us who you are, what you do.
Thanks, Don. As he said, my name is Kirk Sellenberg. I'm co-founder of Reaction Items. Our first product is a consumer product. It is MiniGrip. And basically it's a product to help you open everything easier. This is it here. So we've had a great response with MiniGrip. It's a very unique product. Yeah, I think we've sold 40,000 so far. So
Wow.
Just had a great Q4, and just been very active recently. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
pleasure to be here.
I'm excited to sell 4,000 of anything, let alone 40,000.
Fantastic.
That is amazing. That is really, really cool. All right. Okay. Well, let's see. So we've got introductions, and I also want to talk a little bit about our sponsor. And you might have noticed we are in let me get to the, well, did not mean to do that. There we are. So if this building is what we call the Active Therapy Systems building. This is building houses a startup of one of our own, Bennett Gatto, with founder of Active Therapy Systems. I remember when Bennett showed up at one of our meetings, and he had an idea for a product, and I think he started out with like Post-it notes and just putting them on the wall. And so he's developed a technology that helps people with Parkinson's disease. Which is his company's called Active Therapy Systems. He's also branded as Total Health Works, and they are they let us use their space here. And so this is kind of a part home to the Inventors Network, and what I'd like to now start calling the Active Therapy Systems Studio, which I just think is
Nice.
kind of a neat name that we could call it that. So I want to just say we really appreciate them as a sponsor. I'm going to share my screen and show some stuff. Hang on just a second. I am not quite there yet, but I'm going to be there. I am there. There we go. There we go. Just enough now.
Share it for
Desktop one, desktop two, desktop. Did everybody see
there we
the
go.
Active Therapy Systems?
Yep.
Okay, good deal. Good deal.
Yes, Don, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but swing the mic back around facing
yeah.
you.
No worries. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Leo.
And
was
ask
letting me
anybody
know.
else. I don't want to be the party pooper on the sound, but you know.
That's okay. This is what we need to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, Active Therapy Systems. Again, this was one of our own. And I'm showing one of his websites. His website is totalhealthworks.com. And at totalhealthworks.com, he started out helping people with Parkinson's disease. And now it's like MS, it's Alzheimer's, and really they help people with just any kind of issue, whether it's neurodegenerative or just if you want to improve your memory, be more alert, and socialize with others. But it is a great way. It's a kind of a new edge way of doing things with telehealth. And so they have online classes that they do. They have a total brain and body. So his whole gist behind this was to take physical exercise, pair it with cognitive exercise, and he found that actually improves your brain function, improves your neurological condition. Doesn't matter whether you have dementia or if you're just getting older. It is an amazing technology, and he's growing. He's launching a whole nother area. He actually launched during COVID, which I just thought was an amazing thing with this product. So they're our sponsor. And if you are or know someone with either Parkinson's, a neurodegenerative disease, or if you're just looking to be healthy, just send them to totalhealthworks.com. And I think they would really enjoy it. I think they have a free online class on Wednesdays. So anyway, that is our sponsor that we are just really proud and really glad that we're here in this building with whiteboards everywhere. This is a real Inventors place, folks. There is a whiteboard on every single wall. This is also where I do my videos, so you might recognize some of this looks a little familiar from the videos. So like right around that corner is actually where I shoot my videos from for Empowered Inventing TV. So anyway, we're going to just kind of have a different format tonight, and it's going to be kind of interesting. We're going to talk about some different items, and of course we have for those of you that aren't familiar, we do 3 meetings every month. On the first Tuesday of the month, we have what we call our open meeting. And we hope to be back inside and actually have people locally here. And we're based in Lexington, Kentucky. And again, Leo's letting me know I'm talking to the screen, which does not have a microphone, amazingly. So we do a first Tuesday meeting, and you can join that online, so you can join us from anywhere. And then we also have what we call an Inventor Entrepreneur Workshop. At the open meeting, the first Tuesday meeting, anybody can come. It's fun, it's interactive. We've got a speaker. Usually you learn some things, we have some fun. And it's a really, really good way to come and just kind of get to know us. On the second Tuesday of the month, we do something very, very different. We do something called the Inventor Entrepreneur Workshop. And in the Inventor Entrepreneur Workshop, it's a completely different animal. We're all members, it's members only. And as a member, and you just can go to our website and become a member. It's at kyinventors.org. You can buy different levels of memberships. But when you become a member, we have you sign an NDA and get us some other information and that sort of thing. But it's members only. So if you're not a member, you can't get in the door in the Inventor Entrepreneur Workshop. And so at the workshop, we go around the room, we introduce everybody, and then we go around the room again, and everybody gets a chance to talk about, this is where I'm at, this is what I have, this is where I'm stuck. And instead of getting one person's idea or opinion, you get an entire room full of people. Turns into a brainstorming session on steroids, and the energy in the room is really like no other meeting we ever do. It's pretty amazing, and you usually get a lot of really, really good information from people that maybe they're a good bit further along the inventor entrepreneur process than you are. So anyway, you want to join us for that. And then the third meeting is now on the second Friday of the week, and that is we're calling for now Inventor Friday. And like I said before, this is something new. This is something a little different to try out, a little different format. And with that, we're going to talk a little bit about inventing in history. So there's some notable historical events that happened in January. And the first one that I'm going to kind of throw out here is that on January 9th, just a few days ago, the very first daguerreotype was revealed to the world. Now, this was on January 9th, 1839. And the extra credit, does anybody know what a daguerreotype is?
No.
It is.
Well, yeah, I know what a daguerreotype is. It was one of the early cameras.
There you go. There you go.
Right.
All right.
It was silver nitrate. That's what they used to go poof and take a picture with.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, Jesse knows that because he was around.
Jesse, were you in the first daguerreotype?
Yeah, I think perhaps I was. I feel that old.
Actually, I've got a photograph. Let me see if I can share the screen here. I have a photograph of the very first daguerreotype. And let's see if I can share the screen. There we go. So this is the very first daguerreotype, and Jesse's correct. It was the very first. They were just trying to figure out about cameras and photos. Leo might know. You know anything about this? That you can tell us off the top of your head?
Not a whole lot, other than the fact that the early ones, the biggest reason why it's like a landscape is you really had to have things being utterly stationary at first. You could not, and even when they advanced it a little bit, you had to sit there for an hour without moving. And if you moved a little bit, you'd end up with this phantom image, and that became a whole thing, was phantom photos.
Oh, really?
Oh, this is clearly haunted. And then that was one of the reasons why it was so popular in those days to photograph the dead. It's expensive. It was a good way to remember the person, and they didn't blink or move or do the things they couldn't do. So yeah.
Well, it's funny that you should mention that. This photo is actually, I think they called it Murder Street in France. And if you'll notice on and I don't know if you can see my cursor here or not, maybe not. There is one person in this photograph. And so when he took this photograph, and again, like Leo was saying, it was like what, 30 minutes?
Yeah, an hour sometimes.
Or an hour. So he had to sit there for an hour to take this photo. And everybody that moved was invisible, which I thought was just amazing. So what they say is that this is actually a very crowded street full of people. And that this is the only guy that did not move. He was getting his shoes shined, from what I understand. So this is the very first photograph of a human being taken with a daguerreotype. And I just thought that was fascinating. I think that's amazing that they're messing with this technology, and they're getting like, a little better with it every time.
Yeah.
But I almost wonder if I wonder if there is let's say you want to take a picture of a landscape, but there's a whole bunch of people in the way. Could you do a reverse of this?
See,
What do you guys think?
It's an interesting proposal, and we've come a long way, there's that, and then now I can take pictures of ants' faces with this in my pocket. It's kind of crazy, but at the same time, yeah, the idea of, I can see it. I can even see it being almost a status symbol too. Like, oh, I had my picture taken, but I had to sit still for an hour because we used a very antique process.
Oh,
So I don't know.
you think anybody's doing that?
Probably not. I mean, I can see it though. I mean, it's kind of like horses, now that everybody has cars instead of horses, people who work with horses get paid pretty good.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So kind of a neat novel thing,
Yeah.
or I'm going to sell these NFTs that were
There we
taken
go.
with a daguerreotype in 2023.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, you never know, and that's the thing I like to. I always want to think about when I'm seeing stuff like this is okay, yeah, that was real old, and it's so old now that it's forgotten. So what could you do with it today that maybe everybody's forgot about? What could be done differently?
Yeah.
So also on, let me find my other photo. That's not it. Hang on, guys. Get rid of this one. I think it's this one. Yes, found it. All right. So also on January the 5th, 1965. So we're getting a little closer to now. That daguerreotype was 1839, which is amazing. They had cameras back then. But gotta share my screen. So in 1839, Burger King actually registered the trademark Home of the Whopper. So, and a funny thing about trademarks, if this was a patent, if it has had the same rules of a patent, it would it ought to be run out.
All right.
Yeah, 1985 has been game over. But they still have this. It's still like a thing. Kind of reminds me of the whole blue jeans thing. Of the patent for the blue jeans ran out like in the 1800s, but the not the copyright, trademark for Levi's that's on the back of the jeans still a thing. They can't copy it today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Neat. Huh. I haven't had a Burger King in a long time, I'll say that.
I had one the other day, I think. Because for some, I'm doing a lot more fast food than I used to. I'm having some repairs done at home, so so it's not the best situation for that. So but anyway, there we go. So we got Burger King. Any thoughts on the Home of the Whopper?
Right. Yeah, it's neat just in terms of how powerful a trademark can be. There's advantages to all three. And I think people, when they think of coming up with something profitable, they think of a patent. but there's a lot of different elements to business strategy, and that can include having a good trademark in place, and sometimes even copyright. You got any thoughts on that?
I did attempt to trademark mini grip. Different segments, you can use the name in different segments or different categories. And I think that's key. I would just recommend not trying to trademark something that's descriptive, and mini grip is descriptive. So stay away from things that are, like mini grip, that's very descriptive. So something unique like Google or Twitter, those types of words are easier to trademark. And if there's history of use, you might get away with something like a mini grip. Yeah, that's what I learned. So
Interesting. I wonder if that's why so many Silicon Valley companies, it's always like deliberate misspelling of something. Like if you got a feeding app, it's always, right with a Y and 3 E's at the end instead of just the word itself.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is interesting. I would wonder if,
And Bob pointed out that Burger King is from Jacksonville, Florida. So.
oh, well, there we
Nice.
go.
Nice.
Cool. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, Bob.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, well, there you have it. Are there more Burger Kings in Florida, you think, than there are McDonald's because they
Interesting
started
question.
there?
Yeah, maybe there's a little bit of what's the word? Not patriotism, but local pride, I guess.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah,
I mean, KFC's big in Kentucky, so.
that's true. Of course, it's also big in Japan.
Yeah,
That's wild.
that's almost all marketing though.
Yeah.
There was actually like a chief marketing officer for Japan, and he was like, let's convince everybody that Americans KFC on like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Valentine's Day. It's just the place to be. And so it caught on, and it is the place to be on Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Valentine's Day in Japan, because it's associated with that. Even though they don't even celebrate Thanksgiving, it's like, well, you know what, 24th of let's all go to KFC. So yeah, it's a different mentality, all thanks to marketing. Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That is what, so it's a marketing engineered tradition. Now, basically.
And that happens more often than you'd think. Santa in America, he's a rotund fella because of Coca-Cola.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Coca-Cola got that started, what, the 20s?
Something like that. Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah, crazy.
That is wild. That is just wild. So mini grip was difficult to trademark, I guess.
for the word,
Virtue of being descriptive.
yeah, the design mark is easier. So we have
Yeah.
a design mark. But yeah, just if you have a product, you're looking for a name, stay away from anything descriptive. That's what I'd recommend.
Good advice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right.
If I may interject something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe a good example of losing your trademark by what Kurt is talking about is like Frigidaire. Everybody called the refrigerators, the early refrigerators, Frigidaire because they were the most popular. And I believe, correct me somebody, George, is that they lost their trademark because it became just associated with a refrigerator.
Good point.
That could be the deal. That does happen. And yeah, a lot of companies are terrified of brand dilution. That's what they call it. Like Coke does not like that people generically call soft drinks Coke. They're not pleased with that. They want you to specifically refer to their brand of corn syrup and carbonated water.
Yeah.
Bob, did you have something to say?
Absolutely agree on the trademark. It's the descriptive is hard. One of my trademarks I own is a product called Weed Recede, and my patent attorney my trademark attorney was kind of shocked that we got that through because it has a little bit. We couldn't do weed impede, but Weed Recede actually it had enough, I guess, to where the trademark office was okay with it. And my, like I say, my trademark attorney didn't think we were going to pull that one off.
There was a instance that I know of here recently where a person invented and developed this product, and the name of it, I can't remember the name, but it was 2 descriptive words. And of course, they applied for a trademark. The trademark wouldn't give it to him. So they turned right back around and put the 2 words together, and it gave it to him.
Wow.
Oh, I know a
That's
good
neat.
example. I don't know if it's the one you're talking about. Sorry to interrupt you there, but the plate, big plate, or the plate
Great
guy.
plate.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's what it was. A great plate. Great plate.
Ah, that's it. Yeah, he had to combine it
Okay.
in one word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you could do that
Rick
sometimes.
Kello. We know him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, great guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's-
Well, and a lot of times too, people they'll get mad at Disney because, some little nursery center or whatever will paint it on their building and
Oh, yeah.
you have to defend your trademark if you're going to keep it. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
you're forced to. So people think they're the big bad wolf, but I mean, literally, if they're going to keep it, they have to enforce it.
Because everybody starts using it, then they could lose it entirely. Yeah, and I hadn't really thought about it from their viewpoint like that,
Yeah.
Bob. That's interesting. Yeah, the thing that's always fascinated me about trademarks is that you can trademark colors and even scents. That particular shade of brown that UPS has on all their trucks and everything, that's trademarked by UPS. And I always heard of that as a really interesting argument about, and I think Kirk sort of referenced it earlier, and that's that you can you can trademark something for a certain industry. So if I wanted to open a flower shop and I wanted to use that color, I could, theoretically. But if I started shipping those flowers, then I'd probably get into some trouble. So that's that was interesting. I want to say it was a Verizon store that actually had trademarked a smell. They put a smell in their stores.
There's an aroma. It reminds me of ozone. I don't really know what else it involves, but there's an aroma. Yeah.
That is wild.
And that's like the Harley Davidson Idol. They had a certain range that Harley sound like because they marked that range, that Idol range. And I don't know if they lost that or whatever, but Harley sound different.
Interesting.
I had forgotten about that, Bob. Yeah, that's the sound of their idol was very, very specific.
Huh.
Yeah.
And it had to be it could, if you had a motor that sounded like that, you could get in trouble. So yeah, isn't that bizarre?
Bizarre.
All right. Well, let's talk about a couple other inventions in the in history. I think I'll pick one more here, or at least one more. Well, I'll tell you what, let's just look. How we doing on time? Okay,
We're good. Yeah.
we're good. Okay, good. Let me pull up William Burton for extra credit. Anybody know who William Burton is without Googling it?
What was that name?
William Burton.
I know the name, but I can't remember it.
Let's see if we can pull William up here. Well, this is not going to help. Share that. So this is a picture of William Burton, which is probably going to be 100% non-helpful in figuring out who he is or where he's from. And let me go over here, but let me find this. That's still not it. Okay, almost there, guys. Okay, last one I pulled up. Here we go. This is William Burton's
It's not up yet.
patent.
Hmm.
Anybody care to guess what that is?
Looks like a
Oh,
motion
wait,
still.
if you look real close, you can see the 1913 title of the patent.
Yeah, I can't read that. It looks like it's made for whiskey though.
Is that a still? Looks like a
How's that?
still. Is that a still?
You're very, very close.
That's what it looks like.
So, and on January 7th,
Inventor.
1913, William Burton was granted patent number 1,049,667 for the manufacture of gasoline.
Oh, okay.
So, and funny story, I forget where I heard this, but the manufacture of gasoline was like this weird byproduct of I guess processing oil or
Oh, okay.
processing
Crude,
the
that
whole
makes
refining process.
Hmm.
And they it was like, yeah, we've got you. They said, we don't know what to do with it. It's explosive.
Hmm.
So, and and again, I just kind of like this whole thing where you're you find something that's a problem for, and okay, let's take a step back from that. You can take a step back from all that. And when they discovered oil, they were drilling for water. And this really nuisance thing they would find when they would drill for water was this nasty black stuff that they just did not know what to do with. Well, somebody figured out how to do something with it. And then they were refining the oil and they said, ooh, what's this nasty gasoline stuff? We can't do anything with it. It's explosive. And, here we are today. So the thing question that always puts in my mind is what nuisance waste thing is out there right now that everybody hates, or whoever's in that industry does not like, could be utilized for something completely different.
Makes me think of protein powder, funny enough, is a similar thing.
Oh,
It's,
really?
yeah, they basically what would happen was whenever they would make dairy products, the whey would be left over. And people didn't really want it because it didn't taste that great. It was very high in protein. So people would buy it and feed it to their animals as just livestock feed, cheap source of protein. And then somebody had the idea of, you know what, if we manage to dehydrate this into a powder, make it chocolate flavored or vanilla flavored.
That's
we
great.
could put it on muscle. So yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, it was originally for literally livestock, and they figured that out.
that is wild. Yeah, I have never heard that one before. That is, you see, there's just, and I wonder when that happened. I wonder how long
Yeah,
ago it was.
Probably the
Wasn't it
70s, if I had to
when
guess.
protein powder
Yeah,
probably
that's
first
a
came
good
out?
question. Let's see. Was
Well, I have an example also.
the 50s.
The 50s.
Yeah, neat.
Jack LaLanne.
Yeah,
Maybe he was the
probably in that
one.
ballpark. Ivan Johnson.
Oh, Jack LaLanne. Yeah, man.
Ivan Johnson's high protein food. Weird.
Ivan Johnson's high protein food. That's wild. That is wild. All right. Well, tell you what, let's move on to the next one here. All right. Today, what happened today in inventing history or idea history or intellectual property history, if you want to call it. January 13th, 1930. Let me find it. Here it is. It's too big for this screen. There we are. All right. On January 13th, today, 1930, how many years ago would that have been?
100. No,
Not quite 100?
yeah, not quite 100. 98.
98 years
Yeah.
ago. So 98 years ago,
92 years.
92 years ago. That's right. 92. 92 years ago today, this appeared for the first time in a newspaper. The very first Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Wow.
So, yeah, it just makes you wonder. So Mickey Mouse has been around for
92 years.
92 years.
Yeah. Feels almost like it's longer to me. It feels like it's been 300 years or so.
Yeah, right.
By the way, if you ever want to see a neat business plan, an actual business plan, Walt Disney, what he submitted to investors, it's literally a drawing. Like, most people, they type out this lengthy thing, and he was just like, no, I'm going to draw it. And he draws the theme park, and he draws like the theater, and he shows like how the revenue feeds itself. It's like people go to the park, they buy tickets, then they buy little stuffed animals and animation stills, which feeds the studio, which then makes the film, and then that sells in the form of tickets. And then they go to the park because they see the film, and it's just like this little drawing of like a loop of money.
Leo, are you telling me that Walt Disney invented the infographic?
Basically, yeah,
And somewhere there was an investor who must have said yes.
absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That's great.
right.
Yeah.
That's
That's
right.
awesome.
It's trippy.
That is wild. All right, well, let's see, one more here, and we'll be history with history. Did I remove the spotlight? Or no, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong command. All right, January 29th, 1895. See if I can find this guy's deal. Oh, wait, this is going to be a website. So Charles Steinmetz patented a system of distribution by alternating current. And the other one to come up, there we are. So this, let me share my screen for this one. So this one right here. All right, so this is an actual patent, and this is from 1895. It's weird. You're looking up Google patents, and it's all this modern stuff on a website. And here you see 1895 application granted, January 29th. And you click on this. And by the way, you've never been to Google patents. It's a pretty neat way to look stuff up. It's real easy to navigate. So this is his patent and his drawing. So a lot of people would think that Tesla was the one credited with the patent, but actually it's this guy named Charles Steinmetz. And so it even says, stands alongside giants like Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla in the wake of his, let's see, where's the information on this? Missing electricity. Oh, okay, this is the interesting part. So in 1891, Steinmetz discovered the laws governing hysteresis.
Okay, that's really weird etymologically, because that basically means uterus condition. So,
Really?
yeah.
I wonder if they pulled up the wrong. You think maybe this is a chat
I'm
GPT article?
I'm thinking it connects with the word hysteria.
That could be,
Yeah.
which made AC and DC electrical systems more efficient. So now here's the interesting part here that I thought. 1894, GE hired him to solve the most complex electricity problems. He patented an AC distribution system based on the principles he and Tesla established. And then he would also patent new AC motors, generators, three-phase electrical system. So Tesla probably helped him with this, but he actually came up discovering certain laws that made AC possible. So it kind of means he was actually as forgotten as he's become. He's had almost a bigger part than Tesla did. I just thought that was really interesting, especially when it comes to AC. I mean, there's a lot we would not have today if we did not have AC. It literally changed everything.
Yes. I had to look it up, and what a weird misunderstanding. So hyster does mean uterus in Latin, but it means deficient in Greek, and it stems from the Greek word deficient because,
Oh,
current-
on, off.
so what a weird coincidence that there's a Greek and Latin word that means something totally different from that.
Wow,
Weird.
wow. Leave it to you to. come
Leave
up
it to Google in this case, but yeah.
I wouldn't have even thought about that, but you're right. You're right. That is amazing. Okay, well, that's called, let's move a little up to today. Let's talk a little bit about inventing in the news. Because there's some new stuff going on. It's not all ancient history. It's not all just stuff that you normally just think about in a history book. So for instance, there is a new, I've got to find it here. Just a second. Get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. This one. And
That's
this one. Okay, great. All right, folks. So this is a news item I thought was particularly interesting. And that is that AI, the US Patent Office, has ruled that AI cannot hold patents to US inventions. And, to start off, it's almost a little creepy to think AI could think of stuff to come up with something that could be patentable, but so somebody filed 2 patent applications, Stephen Thaler, naming a single inventor an AI program. And so following review, it was incomplete for lacking a valid inventor. I think that's kind of interesting.
It's a little scary to think that maybe someday this will actually be seen as discrimination.
So I almost want to say, well, the first thing I want to think of is that, maybe chat GPT
Yeah.
was involved, but
Yeah.
this was like predated that, wasn't this?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in 22,
Yeah,
or
before it
in
went public,
2019,
yeah.
right?
Interesting. Yeah.
So I wonder what kind of artificial intelligence he might have been
Yeah.
using.
Good question. I mean, people are using it for a lot now. I've seen some fascinating things. People will, at this point, funny enough, Jesse, want to know your thoughts on this here in a minute.
Yeah.
Because he sent me a clip of somebody who used 2 different AIs to come up with a website for their product. They used one for graphic design and one for copy and layout, and they combined the 2, and literally nothing was human formed from their sneaker websites. Bizarre.
What? Okay, well, this is my first knee-jerk reaction to this. Was it a good website?
Yes, it was. The
Really?
only thing that was bad was the overall structure of the copy. But other than that, I mean, and that took some minor tweaks. I mean, the guy did probably the actual request from the AI. He probably did like 20 seconds of real work that didn't involve the AI, and that was just rearranging things a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, bizarre.
I got a news flash.
Here we go.
Let's hear it, Jesse.
Okay, there's another one now called Valley. Have you heard of that one, that Leo or Don?
Oh yeah, I've used Dolly quite a bit.
No. I know about Dolly. Valley
Haven't heard of that one.
with a V.
Be like Victor.
Oh yeah, it's the video equivalent, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
You can speak to it or they claim that you can speak to it like, I don't know, 10 seconds or 30 seconds, and then you can type in and it will speak your voice.
Yeah. It can actually, the language modeling AI. Okay. I was thinking of something else because there's a video one too. And it's remarkable. I asked it to make a video of a panda bear drinking water. And the panda, it just looked like footage of a panda bear drinking water. Like everything about it, the face, the tongue, the water, except, and this was very disturbing and funny at the same time, the panda had human arms.
Oh my God.
It might there might be a little bit more work to
Yeah,
go.
a little, few tweaks.
Do you think they might have done it on purpose or?
No.
Oh,
If they did, then it really is a Skynet scenario. 'Cause then it was like, I don't want to look too smart for the flesh bag.
oh,
just-
gosh.
yeah.
Leo, speaking of business plans, I heard Chat GPT can work well for business plans. So maybe we got to ask Chat GPT to write a cartoon theme park business plan
Oh,
and see how it looks compared to Walt's
Oh,
business plan back in the day.
there's a- I
interesting.
wonder, we might, if we can get in, we might even do that right now.
Oh, yeah.
That would be
It's,
cool.
That would be fun.
I gotta tell you, I've been using the Chat GPT for a little while now, and I actually did a bunch of blog posts for my websites and things, and I figured, oh, right, this is gonna make it easy, right? So
That's
you
how
know,
they
you
get
still
you,
had-
Bob.
you had to do some tweaks. You still had to do some tweaks. You had to adjust things. And it wasn't completely right, but it was dang close.
Wow.
Worked fabulously. And then I understand that did Microsoft just buy them not too long ago?
They put some money in to get their foot in the door. I think it was.
Yeah, I think pretty
10
recently.
billion, I
Well,
think.
that's kind of funny. I went on this week and it didn't work anymore. And I'm like, there you go, Microsoft's involved.
Well, they are censoring themselves quite a bit, which is unfortunate.
Hmm.
I think it's working well for code.
Yeah, I
too.
heard they were doing some
Oh, really?
political stuff or
Oh, yeah,
something.
yeah.
stupid on
Somebody
there.
made a video game by literally just describing it and said, write code for it.
Yeah,
That's
basic
crazy.
games like a Pong game or
Right,
something
yeah,
like that.
nothing, it
It
wasn't
can-
Call of Duty or.
Yeah.
It can write a
It's
Pong.
amazing what it does.
So if we could write a Pong game now,
Mm.
in 6 months.
It probably can do a Space Invaders. or something like that.
Really?
It probably could do that. But I think maybe there's maybe a few things left, like human arms.
Yeah, right. But still, I mean, the price of coders right now, I mean,
Yeah.
to hire coders, number one, it's hard to find good ones because they're all bought up. Number
Right.
two, they're really expensive. I mean, some of our folks, they're doing stuff with software and I mean, it's a difficult task to get all, find good coders or find good.
Yeah, we're getting to a point where low code, no code might be more common than the alternative.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah, it's interesting. I consider almost in, guys, almost able to do this. Let's see.
Oh, are you actually? You're
You're gonna do it.
Leo's doing a
yeah.
live.
A business plan
right
for
here.
a theme.
Just gonna take a minute, yeah.
That is wild.
Now, if it spits out a picture just like Walt did, then we know there's something going on.
Right.
Mickey Mouse with human arms.
I'm assuming you can't share the screen.
No, but I will read it out. Here we go.
Because it is it text.
Yep,
Wow.
it'll take a little bit, but we can talk about other things. In the
Yeah,
meantime.
that's what. Now, Leo, was it you? I swear it was either you or somebody else that was telling me this week about they were describing something. I want to say it was like no, I don't, I think this was somebody else. Was describing a medical, some kind of robotic medical thing.
Mm, I
And
don't think that
one
was
of
me.
the old doctors commented that, have any of you guys seen 2001: The Space Odyssey?
Right.
Cause it's like.
Oh, I know what it is. It's the they're using sound to create micro bubbles to treat cancer. That's what it is.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what you're
yeah.
talking. So it's
Wow.
kind of like
I know what
I
you're
forgot
talking
the
about.
name of it, where Scotty
It's
does the
wasn't
little.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
basically you burst a wine glass, but with
Mm-hmm.
tumors.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they shoot sound, it creates micro bubbles and it kills the cells that are bad and it's targeted.
That is.
Yeah, I
That's
heard
amazing.
years ago that cancer cells have a different resonance for destruction than healthy cells. So that explains that.
Yeah.
Weird. It's weird
Yeah.
to think about. It's literally like, imagine if you had, this is a horrible analogy. in retrospect. Imagine if you had wine glasses in your cabinet that you really didn't want to have because they were bad for you. And you could, hit a tuning fork and only the bad ones would shatter. That's kind of what it is on a cellular level.
Well, I mean, just circling back to Tesla, didn't he like make a vibration machine that like shook a town apart
Yeah.
or something one
Like,
time?
There's so many things that he did that sound like folklore, but he did.
Yeah,
So,
he actually, that he actually did it.
so
I think there's a lot of undiscovered stuff with resonance. There's a lot.
Well,
of
Tesla's theory has always revolved around resonance. That's the key word, resonance. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so true. Goodness. Well, you know what? I completely forgot when we introduced
I just thought it was
Kurt.
later.
I could have made it later and just said,
Sing video.
we planned to do this.
Yeah.
Kurt brought us all of these cool, here I'm going the wrong way again. Let me get them out. I was waiting to get these out of the box. He gave us a whole bunch of
Tell
mini
you
grips.
what, you hand
This
me
is a-
one, I'll
here.
pass up to the camera.
There you go. I'm gonna open mine.
Have me-
Another one. There you go. You're doing better than me. I just kept wanting to move mine in the wrong direction. But yeah, these are, Kurt, talk to us about this. Tell us about what.
Yeah, I mean, as inventors, we're always looking for that problem, and then when you identify the problem, you try to come up with a solution, right? So
Mhm.
that's what happened to me. I was a family. We had a bunch of
Okay,
people
great.
in the same house, and a lot of different people were asking for help opening a lot of different containers, and we were not just in the kitchen. And I said, why is this happening? Why, and so I identified the problem as, maybe people need grip and they needed a little bit, with a little bit easier access, and maybe not just in the kitchen anymore, because
Alright.
now twist tops are everywhere, right? So what makes mini grip different is the material and the surface texture on the grip side. And it really does have a coefficient of, I'm getting technical here, but it's a coefficient of friction greater than 1, which means that it acts kind of like a suction cup, right? So you get a little more friction, you get a little more grip, and it really does give you an edge. And that's why people love it.
So
Yeah.
if you're using it, I'm grabbing the dull side, or I'm grabbing the slick side.
Yeah, brand to the hand, and the
Brand in the
tacky
hand.
polish
I like
side.
that.
The tacky polish side
The
goes
tacky polish
goes
side
to
goes
the,
to the, like the bottle
to the
lid
bottom.
or whatever.
Just
This is
Right.
wild.
so yeah, it's a little dirty, but that's how it works.
That is nuts.
Isn't that
I'll
wild?
do that again.
Yeah.
This is the,
Actually, yeah, put the camera on him when he does that.
yeah, let's
Holy
do
crap.
that.
So
Yeah, I've not seen that
Oh,
part
wait.
before.
Yeah, we gotta show that.
So it's designed to be very tacky. That polished side actually gives you the grip over and above what you're used to experiencing. So if you take it and you place it on something like a glass surface, it will stick to the
Wow.
glass surface. So it does have a coefficient of friction greater than 1, and it really just gives you that extra edge.
So
And-
does it double as a screen cleaner for your phone?
No, I wouldn't say it's designed for that, but I could work on that.
Well, the other thing, I don't know if anybody's ever mentioned this before or not, but I was wondering, because this is a point of frustration that I have. A lot of times now with packages that have to be torn open, is gripping those packages without your fingers just slipping off the edge. Like a little, just think
No,
of
that's
like a
true.
ketchup packet or something like that. Could you use this to grab and tear?
So there are a couple of use cases where it will do what you're asking. There are some containers nowadays that have the little pull tabs.
Mhm.
If the pull tab's big enough, it will help.
Hmm.
But the two use cases that it really works well, that you're talking about, are any of these safety tamper type plastics with the perforated holes that are melted on the top of, or heat shrunk on top of a container. It's like on pills or Visine, or
Oh,
all you have to do with a mini grip is just put it on there and twist, it'll rip it right off.
boy.
Wine sleeves is the other one. So if you're used to, if you're a connoisseur and you're constantly cutting the little top of the wine sleeve before you open the cork, a mini grip will just rip a wine sleeve right off the top and you don't have to mess with it.
Wow, that is.
Yeah.
Totally.
So
That is, actually, I have here, yeah. Definitely want to show this. There we go. So this is actually the website. So you need to go to My Mini Grip. Is that the website?
myminigrip.com.
myminigrip.com. Open everything easier. I really like how this is laid out. You didn't use Chat GPT for this.
No, but we're working on version 2, so we might talk to chat and see what they can do.
Oh, but yeah, I like this. I've played the video. The video is really, really cool. Here, let's just play. Okay, Kurt, I have to ask you where you had that made. It's fine.
We used a company called Lish, and they did a great job for us. They really helped us.
Nice. All the different colors. You got a 3-pack. I like the colors in the 3-pack. But you said the real popular one right now is a 7-pack.
Yeah, a lot of people I think customers recognize that it's a great gift, and they usually want to have 1 or 2 more than just, a lot of people keep them in the kitchen, but a lot of people like to have them in their car, their toolbox, with in the mud room, the laundry room.
So if I've got 5 nieces and nephews and I want to keep 2 for myself, I buy the 7-pack.
Yeah. And the customer is king, and one thing that some of our customers have asked for is some larger ones too.
Oh, really?
So we have those coming out soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
How big's the larger ones? Do you know? Do you have that?
It's in the 5-6 inch range.
Okay.
But there'll be a set, so there'll be a couple different sizes, and
Okay.
and basically we'll cover the whole segment, cover the whole set of customers that might like a different size.
Oh, I like that. Is this the same video company here?
It's showing different use cases. Gives them a little bit more of it gives customers a little bit more of a view of ways they can use it.
I really like the camera work. I mean, Leo knows more about this.
Yeah,
than I do,
we've
but-
already gone over.
Okay.
Yeah. Leo.
Good things to say.
Yeah, we've talked to Leo, so
Okay, cool.
that was a different company that did that.
Oh, okay.
That was Alpha Graphics out of Pittsburgh.
Oh,
They did a great job for us also.
got your features down here. Very nice. Very nice. All right, very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much
Thank you.
For the set. I'm excited. I'm already thinking of people I want to give this away to. But then I'm also thinking, I want to keep some of these myself.
Yeah.
Because
Stephen commented, by the way, that caller that commented that you will break the 1,000 mark. So
Thank you.
all right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, let's see. What else were we? Let's see. Oh, we've got some more stuff in the news here. Oh, okay. Now here's one that I really been wanting to talk about. I bet Leo knows which one it is too.
Yeah, we discussed this before.
We had a little conversation about this. So this was a riddle, and actually I've heard the riddle before, and they've actually solved it. And because back in Roman times, share the screen here. Roman concrete, they made concrete in Roman times, and then they I guess, forgot how to make it.
Yeah.
And then what was it like the early 1900s, I want to say?
Something like that.
They rediscovered Portland cement and but still all the concrete we make today does not hold up. I mean, if you've ever been down a road with potholes in it in Indiana, I'm talking about you, Brandon. And plus I've ridden a lot of those roads. I mean, it does not hold up. Well, there's Roman concrete that's like still the aqueducts that they're still using today from 2,000 years ago.
Huh.
And so it's always been, okay, well, what did they do that we're not doing? Well, they say they have solved it. This just recently, this is real recent in the news. An unexpected ancient manufacturing strategy may hold the key to designing concrete that lasts for millennia. Yeah, I can see I can see the slogan for that now.
Yeah, they made it better than modern day. And it's always been, I've heard it as an argument for, ancient tech forever. And now, like, we know what the secret was, though. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So if you're wanting to know the secret, let's see, I think they've got it a little further down here. They kind of go on about.
It's something to do with mixing it hot and then having ash that allowed it to form little line pockets.
Little
And what's neat about it is, so like the problem with concrete is it rains, right? And it starts to erode it. Well, with these lime pockets, when they get wet, they're reactive. So then they fill in the gap once they get wet. So instead of, so it's basically self-healing. It's crazy because it's, self-healing material from like flipping 3,000 years ago.
Self-healing concrete for Roman times.
Yeah.
That is just utterly amazing.
Yeah.
So, and of course, this begs the question.
Quick line, yeah.
Quick line, yep. So they have to, yeah, you're right. It's hot mixing. So hot mixing, the team has now concluded, is the actual key to the super durable material. That is just an exothermic reaction. So the exothermic, so they didn't heat it up. It was heated up through the reaction of the quick line. Is that right? Am I reading that right? Or is that how they do it now?
It says they hot mixed it.
Hot
So I
mixed
don't
it.
know. Do know, I can't remember what it was a material they absolutely paid through the nose to get it poured in. It's a key ingredient.
Oh,
And I just can't remember what it was. It might have been lime. Maybe
Could
it
have
just
been.
wasn't lime in like the Roman Empire's vicinity, which is weird. I don't know.
yeah, line class.
Well, if I may interject, this new discovery had to do with the self-healing process of the Roman concrete.
Yes.
Yep, yep.
And I sent Leo I sent him a link or something there just now about it. And I read about this recently too, and I was thinking it was on PBS, but maybe I can't remember, but it was when the water would leak into the cracks, it would self-heal. That was the major difference.
Yeah. No, that's literally why it lasts so much longer than modern concrete. Like you look at modern roads, it's like these parking lots got to get repaved every year. And then you look at Roman roads through like medieval England, and they're still fine.
Yeah, that blows my mind. I mean, it's one thing to have, okay, yeah, here's some concrete that's 20%, lasts 20% longer. Or, amazing, 50% longer. This is like
Forever.
yeah, 2,000 years compared to 20 or something.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's like, what would that be like? 100 times?
No, more than that.
1,000 times?
Probably
longer?
like 10K times. Or something.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, imagine a promise like that. We can improve your margins by 10,000.
right.
So yeah, it's crazy.
So this is what begs the question for me is, has anybody jumped on this yet? And if not, I mean, if it's really not that hard, I'd be whipping me up a concrete company or partnering with somebody who was into concrete.
Nero's paving.
Give it a nice Roman era name.
Yeah.
Wow. So I thought that of all the ones here, this one really fascinated me. I just thought that was really something. All right, how we doing on top? Doing okay?
Yeah, maybe
Good.
scrap the.
Okay. All right.
Next episode.
All right, good deal. Good deal. Oh wait, there was one.
There is one.
There is one. Well, there's two more. Let's just do
Yeah.
one. How about that?
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
I'm
All right.
biased because I said scrap.
No, that's the one I was wanting to use.
Go for
Oh,
it.
all right. So this one is interesting. Actually, Leo found this and I just thought it was quite interesting. Let me get it here. And I swear, guys, we are going to have this where it is works so much faster in the future. There we go. So Sony has owns a patent now that would force viewers to exclaim the brand name during commercials to make them end.
Yeah, it's just terrifying.
Yeah. It's like, okay, we're gonna keep playing this commercial until you stand up and yell our name.
Well, that's better than my 2-year-old who screams remote. He just screams remote. So I'd rather yell Sony than
Tell
remote.
me that wasn't that wasn't his first word, was it?
No, he just, he's watching YouTube and the commercial comes on, and you would think that a 1 or 2-year-old doesn't really know what a commercial is, but they do, and they scream. So remote.
So want to skip commercial.
Yeah, or he'll
Wow.
hand you the remote. So I guess it might be easy if he starts, yelling out Sony or Alexa or Siri or something. Alexa commercial.
So now we're combining ChatGPT, so AI and commercial.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have
Yeah.
to type it on your remote, like SONY, that would be,
That
Yeah.
would be
Either
really-
way, it just seems so dehumanizing. Like, from my perspective, and this is subjective, but still, like, innovation since like fire and wheels and knives, it was always to progress people, like put them above animals. And this feels like it's a step very close to like making people animals, move like the cow you are. It's dehumanizing.
I didn't think I kept thinking about the annoying part, but I didn't really think about that part.
That's the part that bothers me.
Now that you said it, I'm
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a
Who
little
wants a
more
Big
infuriated.
Mac? Oink like a piggy,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, let's hope this is a patent that doesn't come to actually
Yeah.
the market.
It would be great PR for Sony if, I don't believe this for a second, it would be great PR if they said, oh, that reason why we did that, we saw it was around the corner, we just want to protect people from somebody else doing it. But I don't think that's the deal.
Yeah, there's something going on there.
They'll eventually be like, yeah, okay, then maybe they'll let us do it.
Yeah.
Goodness. All right. Well, let's move on. Tell you what, I want to Brandon, did you send us some links for us to use?
Yeah, there should be some in your mailbox. If not, I can do a share screen if needed.
Okay.
So I'm going to have a spotlight to you. There we go.
Oh, good deal. Well, Brandon is one of our own inventors, and he has and Brandon, I'm looking, did you email it to me or did you email it to Leo?
You.
Me. Okay.
I'm working with a Chromebook today, so that's good.
All right. Okay, now I got it. Is it just one picture?
It's got one picture and it's got 2 links, one for my website and then one for my LinkedIn.
Okay, now I got it. Good deal. All right. Well, Brandon, I tell you what, before we pull that on, let's tell us a little about your story, what you have, and how you came up with it.
Sure. I'll try to summarize it because I had notes on books on tape and everything for years and never made anything, never prototyped anything. And then during COVID, I'd actually helped a lot of friends, neighbors, and customers build AR rifles and like AR pistol rifles. And people struggled, and I was really struggling with what was on the market because I had a couple competition rifles for myself. So I took what was out there, made it better. I started with a foam prototype that cost me about $400. And then I went to market, did a lot of research to find out what was out there, some price points, and then started venturing it and bootstrapping it myself, even though I was told to license. And so went through finding people that were animators, photographers, all the people that could do things that I couldn't, and then paying them by the hour to develop my product. And then now I'm on 50 store shelves and growing every month.
Nice.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
congrats. Real.
So, what do you think the hardest part of this whole process was for you, Brandon?
It's the persistence and being accountable every week of having something that you need to actually do and accomplish, because otherwise it's just going to sit there. And people think things go viral, but that takes time, it takes effort, it takes practicing it beforehand before that actually happens. Even like if you look at some of my videos, if you look at my phone, there was 8 takes of that same video that got released, and I'm still not always happy with the one that I actually released. Similar, like trying to take pictures of a kid that doesn't want it. Like you've got to keep trying until you get it right. And so people have to see that, and it takes that persistence. And even a lot of like books and personal motivation, it's that persistence, the hard works that pays off for the decades. It's not instant.
That's absolutely right. You
So
distilled it very well.
So you were basically an overnight success, 10 years in the making.
Decades and decades and books and conferences, pep talks, and praying.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is my product. It's an AR parts holding template. So basically, if you wanted to put together a bike and you wanted where everything went, I give you a spot for all the loose pieces and then walk you through step by step with the live action video and an animated video of steps 1 through 31. Because there's a lot of people that struggle with it and they don't always know what each part is. And so I identified it for it and then gave it instructions. And even there's certain tools you could use while you're doing this. I made it as basic as possible. So you could basically do it with some of the tools that were with the template and a screwdriver and basic hammer. And then as I developed it, this is even actually called the Mark 7 because it went through several generations before it got to the market. And I had to make little minute changes. I'd take customer feedback. I'd take manufacturing feedback of something an engineer told me to just continuously make it better. And if you saw what the first prototype is versus what ended up on the store shelf, most people would be blown away. And then they're actually surprised too, which is why I'm entertained by people I try to help that want to get something on the market, but they spend 4 years on a t-shirt design or something else. Yeah. And I got to the point where I just wanted anything to get to a B. If it was to a B level, I was happy with it and I could release it and move on to the next task versus sticking on one thing and sticking on one thing. I was making progress. And then once it was out there and on the market, it got better. It got customer feedback. It got reviews. People at shows would ask me questions that I would have never thought about. People try to use it for things that it's not for. And without that kind of real experience and bouncing off of people, I wouldn't have done that on myself. I'm on one track because of what my experiences are. When someone else picks it up and asks questions, it gives you that next level of communication and then what other people are going to think of it. So that's been a big benefit of actually putting it on the market, is getting that feedback. And then the persistence of, for me, I go to shows every couple months. I put it on the internet. I walk into gun shops and try to wholesale. And then, of course, I get new questions from them also. And even when I'm trying to help some of my friends that have a completely different product or service, I share those questions so that them being a first timer, it's like, hey, what's the minimum order? Where is this manufactured? What's your insurance level? How do you auto ship? And all these questions that people wouldn't know. Like you think you have everything lined up and you're ready to go. One new question and it's a surprise. And then you just prepare for it the next time. You put it on your flyer, you put it on your business card, and you're prepped for it that next one there, because the next year you've got more things that you know than you do 5 years from now. You have more things that you know and what you do during the process.
Yeah, and Brandon, I used to always say, our best R&D came from out in the field. And we would always either develop new products or improve products that we already had. And most of it, because I like you, and this is what I really like about your story, Brandon, is you've got to live on both sides of the fence. You've been on the R&D side, and you live on the market side. So you know what the customers are really wanting. You're really gonna, you got your finger on their pulse, and then at the same time, you're able to take that and translate it into okay, they really hate this aspect of it, and they really, really want one of these instead. And that was your mark all the way to your, all the different iterations of your product. Sounds like that's what that was.
And what's next for what I've gotten requests for, because then I know what's popular and what's not. So if I do something different product, I know which way I'm going.
I bet you have a lot of requests too.
I get a lot of requests, and I almost like just number them in my head to know what's popular for what I'm going to release next, versus the super oddball ones. That's like, that sounds great.
Oh, well, here, let me share the other picture that you.
Sure.
Because this is really nice. And I do want to kind of talk about the tip jar a little bit. Because I just think that is so cool. I wish I'd come.
Yeah, I found that right before I planned to do this, because I know that Kickstarter is not friendly to the firearm industry. And when I was working on my PayPal processing while I was at a gun show taking in money, there was a tip jar function. So I put in a couple amounts, and then at my most recent gun show, it's called the Indy 1500. I started taking funds because I want to present at the NRA show, the National Rifle Association, because there's going to be roughly about 33,000 to 40,000 people in attendance at the Indianapolis Convention Center. And so I had my wife draw me up a board, and I put like the little temperature gauge on it to keep making it go up. And within 2 days, I raised about a third of what I needed for the table.
Wow,
Nice.
that is fantastic.
Yeah, we got a question in the chat actually for you, Brandon. Stephen wants to know, what was like, when did you know you'd hit a tipping point? When did things start going from the slog to really start making these partners and making these sales?
Once I got the wholesale deals, so once I could go into a gun shop and sell 10 of my units at a time, or 5, I knew that I wasn't crazy. Is the whole thing.
That's great. That's great.
Same way if I see a product online or I see it and I'm like, hey, I have a use for something. And then 6 months later I see it. I'm like, hey, I'm not crazy. Like, this stuff. So that was the biggest thing, is starting to do wholesale, even though it was 10 units, 5 units. And people ask you, hey, what's your minimum? And I mean, I'd have people do 2. They're like, well, I'm just going to display it and see how it does. Great. Here you go. Let's write this. Because now that goes on my website, because on my website I also have a retailer link that shows you where I'm at in the country. And so that's a benefit when I'm traveling, to say, hey, I have no one in your area that's carrying my product. One. And then people also see, as I travel, how as it grows, as it expands. So that would be the takeoff point. It going viral, I thought, as soon as I had the website and spent thousands of dollars and had a link and shared it on my social media, I would just get instant purchases. And it didn't happen. It's literally been the persistence part of it, month after month, of little gains and little happenings.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. If you build it, they will come only works in bad Kevin Costner movies, right? I really don't dislike that movie. I just think that's a great way.
I was wondering, because you've used that comment a couple times, so
All right.
I didn't know if I was going to have to defend
I
Kevin.
don't like Kevin Costner now or something. So. Well, no, it's just a lot of people think that's what you got. Oh, I'll just put it on the internet and do some social media marketing and okay, and now I'll be Bill Gates. But no. And I see Kirk shaking his head like he's been there, done that, and knows.
I'm still there. Still work every day. It's yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
What's the next question, guys? Or what do you want to know that would be important or help someone get to that next level? Because it's worth doing the next level and moving one more pace forward to get something accomplished.
Well, I got a question, and that would be like, between the time you started this endeavor and now, what would you say is the most valuable lesson that experience has taught you?
I hate to say it, but like I really like the operational side of it. And it's been engineering telling me something to change in my process because I'm trying to mass produce this. And so something that I would see on a one-sided level that, hey, I want to do it this way. I want it to look this way. I want it to open it this way. And then when you find people in different industries or the engineering type, they're like, hey, manufacturing doesn't work that way. It actually goes this way. And it's you look at it at a different angle and you're like, oh man, I've got to actually, other than this just looking cool or doing what I want it to do, I have to make something that is possible. Same way with like the plastic molding, injection molding, cases. You don't have to always reinvent the wheel. If you're going to, be prepared to spend a lot of money on molds and everything else. But there's also some standards out there that you can follow. And it's taught me to look at that other side of it. And like I said, turn it upside down, spin it around, try to break it in half. What can be the difference? So I've really liked that side of it. It geeks me out on the operations side because it's like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? Because I can apply it moving forward also with anything else I bring to the market. And it's all experience.
Components off the shelf. That's my favorite way to build a product. If you can find something that already exists and just modify it, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that.
Good deal. And thanks so much for sharing
Yeah.
the story with us, because we've watched it happen, but it's so nice to see it consolidated in like that kind of format. It's almost biographical. So
Yeah.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Very inspiring.
Absolutely.
Like the KY groups helped a lot and all the input and like I said, the accountability and having something to do. Even introductions sometimes, it's a recent one that was really useful. So it gives you something to look forward to and keep going at it.
Glad to hear it.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well,
Having you and Kurt in the same digital room, at least, and him in the same physical room, it's nice to get that validation on our end too. Seeing people progress.
Absolutely. And now, I'm so excited. You've done all these shows and you're teeing up for this big show. So if someone wants to help, somebody wants to support you in this endeavor, Brandon, where would they need to go for the tip jar?
The tip jar, it's under my billing at bkohler.com. So I'll put it in the chat, and then I don't know if you can put it in the description for the YouTube. And then that picture, of course, is a QR code. So you can go to that. And that was a really big benefit at the show. And then I did it on some of my social media during it. And it made progress, and it definitely helped because the booth space is going to be expensive. And I really like that, what it can get me and going from there. So, and then also I'd sent you a link for my personal LinkedIn business page. So I've also been, if you want to keep up with me and see product development, ask any questions, you want help, the Edge and product developer LinkedIn is the way to go.
Excellent. We'll put that in the chat too, Brandon.
Perfect.
Let's give everybody give Brandon a cheer and applause. Brandon, you've done a fantastic job.
Thank you, guys.
We're proud of you.
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate it and appreciate the encouragement.
All right. Cool. All right.
I have a comment, Don, if you can hear me okay. I don't mean to pick on somebody, but I wish he'd come back, but he disappeared. And what I want to point out is there was about, I don't know, 2 or 3 videos back that you put out. And what Brandon is saying, it all comes down to execution. And we had a lot of fun one time with Tino. Tino disappeared once he found out he had to do some work.
Let's not name names, but I get where you're talking. Yeah.
Cool.
No, I got it.
All
So what I'm saying is Brandon is the opposite.
Yeah, you
It's
gotta- you gotta
execution.
Put in the effort. You gotta have
Yeah.
the slog, the elbow grease to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody
way-
wants to watch Shark Tank. Everybody wants to think, in 30 minutes, I'll be an instant millionaire
Right.
if I come up with this idea and hand somebody a piece of a napkin sketch. But that's not the real world. Real world is getting up every day and,
Yeah.
and how am I gonna make payroll this month? And, it's stuff like that, that makes it, doing that every day, day after day, just that consistent staying with it, that's what makes all the difference. It really does. So,
By the way, still ChatGPT is so busy, there's no way. It's unfortunate that this is-
Oh, really?
Yeah.
so
You've-
I've
chat,
been trying this whole time. like,
You're,
come
you've
on.
been queued up, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
chat GPT is having a busy Friday night.
Apparently.
That's wild. That is absolutely wild.
All right.
All right.
Well, now it's
Yeah,
just
let's
just
see.
wrap up, really.
Yeah, I think, let's see, did we have any questions
any-
from anywhere? Anybody
I
have
think
any?
we covered it all, but if anybody has any last comments or questions before we wrap things up, and
Yeah,
that includes input, and thanks so much
Sure.
for putting up with all this on our first ever attempt. So,
yeah, we really do appreciate it. Thank you for your patience with all this. And that we're, hopefully this has been a fun Friday night for everybody. We got to learn some stuff. We got to have some fun. And hey,
We'll see Dan.
Dan's with us.
I'm late.
Oh,
I gave away 60 pounds of fudge yesterday. Today I've given away another 20 and I've got 40 more to go.
wow.
yeah,
That's a lot.
that's a lot.
20 pounds of fudge in the last 3 days.
Yeah, I'm
Sounds good.
I feel bad you can't, ship it to Kentucky because
I'll do a flat rate box and send you a bunch,
there
Don.
you go. Oh, I don't know, it might melt before it gets here, so.
Sorry I'm late, guys. I just
All
walked.
right, all right, we're glad that
Yeah.
you're here.
Glad we caught you at the last second.
Yeah.
We're wrapping it up.
All right. Did we get any?
Doing
last
okay
minute?
though?
I'm hanging in there.
Good deal.
Oh, good. Good to hear. Good to hear. Let's see, we didn't have any other questions
think
from,
that's
did
it.
we wrap up all the questions? Okay,
Looks like it.
good, good.
I had quite a few.
All
but we'll
right,
have to-
yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And we'll hope to see you. We've got all kinds of stuff coming up in February. First Tuesday is our open meeting. Second Tuesday is our workshop. Need to become a member for that. And then next second Friday of, I don't know what day of the
I think it's the
month.
10th.
I think it's 10. I think you're right. I think it is. We'll have an all new Inventor Friday. Maybe modified depending on your comments. So thank you all again, and everybody have a great weekend.
Have a-
See ya.